Hi guys, I hope we're all doing well today. And I just want to say a big thank you to the first video that I uploaded. Well, not the first video, or the latest video that I uploaded. The one I uploaded just a few days ago. It did really good, I got a lot of very nice comments. I gained like 4 subscribers from it, which is absolutely amazing. So I do thank you all for that. And today I want to talk about why I still feel disrespected, even though I know that I'm a good person to other people. So it's something I've been thinking about for a while, like even when you experience those moments of disrespect, when you're in a position where you're being treated unfairly, you're being judged, or you're just being laughed at for doing something out of the ordinary, or just doing something different, or just doing something the wrong way, I don't know. But you just get judged, and you just feel like, someone's being rude to you, or they're just passively being aggressive, stuff like that. And then you just think to yourself, I'm always nice to this person. I always nice to everyone. I always do what I'm told. I always try to spread positivity, try to spread happiness wherever I can. But somehow I still repel all this negativity. I still get treated unfairly by certain people. And in a way, it doesn't really make sense, because you know that when you're a kind person, when you're always friendly and you always treating people the way they want to be treated, you expect to receive that same sort of feeling. You expect to be treated that same way. But despite you treating people with kindness, treating people with respect, they still struggle to find any respect for you. They try to find your weak points, they try to make you feel smaller, and they try to just overall, shed a bit of that kindness you have off of you. And it feels weird, because who would have thought that being nice to somebody would make them dislike you even more? It doesn't make very much sense. But yeah, it's just weird, I don't really get it, because I've got this co-worker, and I don't want to talk about it actually, because I don't know, I feel like if I ever upload one of these videos, a lot of people are just going to see it, and then you're probably going to get some people at work, it's just, oh no, but my videos never get seen by anyone, so thankfully I will be safe. But I would just try to speak from a third person perspective, and it's just, there's this person in my life who I always treat with respect. I always do what I should do. I always do things sometimes wrong, sometimes right, but I try. I show respect, I show effort. But despite that, the negativity or my weak points still outshine my positives. All the good things I did are thrown under the bus because somehow the negatives outweigh them. So then it sort of diminishes your confidence. It makes you feel weaker that this person is, even though they are aware of all the good things that you've done, they still feel the need to criticize your weaknesses. They still feel the need to try and make you perfect. And it really does suck, because no one can ever be perfect. You can teach someone how to do something 100 times and they probably still won't do it right. It doesn't matter, because we all do things in our own way. We all do things that we are comfortable with. So ultimately, when someone tries to alter your kindness, or when someone tries to change who you are as a person, it just gets confusing. It doesn't make very much sense. But yeah, it's just weird, you know. And to be fair, I feel like I've also realised that maybe things are that way because people wish they were you. You know, even though maybe someone has better circumstances than you, someone has more money than you, or someone's just in a better position than you, for example, they will still feel the need to know that they are better than you. But when you are better than them at something, they feel the need to diminish you, to make you feel weaker, or to just dislike you. And so it got me thinking, sometimes when you have this trait of kindness, when you just happen to be the kind of person who is always happy, who is always respectful, people will start to despise you because they wish they were like that. They wish they could spread positivity. They wish they had a beautiful smile. They wish that they could see the world as if there are sunshines and rainbows every day. And because they wish for that, they despise you. They despise the fact that you're so kind. And because they despise the fact that you're so kind, they're the ones who will try to highlight your weaknesses, who will just try to, disrespect you. And it's weird, because having this sort of kindness in this society is a very big gift. Because we do live in a world that is so just like sheepy. That's not a word, but it's so sheepy. And what I mean is like everyone is like just sheeps. Everyone is just doing the same thing. Nobody wants to be different. Nobody wants to express themselves as much as they can. Society as a whole is just everyone's becoming robots. A lot of us may hate AI, but we are becoming robots ourselves. But when society has come to this stage where everyone just has like no emotions, everyone has no personality, having a different personality that just radiates kindness, that radiates positivity is a gift. And having that in a society full of sheeps is a really big benefit. And it just makes you a lot different, and people just start to hate that in a way, or just start to despise you. So if you are watching this video and you perceive yourself to be this type of person who is always happy and who is always respectful, you must understand that having kindness like this in this day and age is a massive gift. It's something you have to hold on to. It's something you can't let anyone try to control or to change, because it will benefit you so well. It will get you to places you never thought you could get to. Like from my own experience, because I'm always known as this kind and positive person, it's not that hard for me to get opportunities. It's not that hard for me to build relationships or to make connections. And it's all simply down to me just being kind-hearted, to me just, smiling at everyone, treating everyone the same. And it sounds weird saying things like that, because you'd think as a society as a whole we should all be doing that. We should all be treating everyone the same. We should all be showing kindness to those who deserve it and just showing it to anyone, because how does it hurt anyone to be nice? And obviously every now and then it's not very easy to show kindness. It's not very easy to express that happiness within you, especially when you yourself are in moments of weakness, when you yourself are in bad situations. Like for me, for example, with what I've got going on with my family, it's not something you would expect from someone who always has a bright smile on their face, or someone who is just always known as happy. But despite all the negatives surrounding my life, despite all, these difficulties I'm experiencing, I still have the ability to provide kindness to other people, to smile at everyone, to treat everyone with respect, simply because that's just who I am. Sometimes I absolutely hate myself for how often I'm always happy, how I'm always smiling, how I'm always being respectful. Sometimes I hate it, simply because what I've got going at home would make someone else depressed. Honestly, it would make someone else feel like shit. It would just ruin the way someone lives their life, how they talk to other people. But me, I still talk to people the same. I'm still nice to people. I'm still the same person you'd expect nothing to go on in my life the way I would speak. And that's why sometimes I do hate how kind I am. I do hate how happy I am, simply because when you are sad, when you feel weak, you want to show that. You want to listen to music that makes you weak. You want people to consolidate you. You want people to reassure you. But being someone who is just used to always being happy, he's used to always being kind, it's not very easy to get to that level. I don't really like having people reassure me or telling people what I've got going on, because it's just not who I am. We're all different. Some of you guys might do that, some of you guys might not, but it's just not who I am. I can't do it. because I'll just end up regretting it. You know, I won't. There was this video that I made where I opened up to you guys, um, about how I opened up to one of my exes about how I felt. So if you find that video, good job. It might have been. Gosh, I don't, honestly don't even know which video it is. You guys are gonna have to watch all my videos to know. But yeah, I just want you guys to understand that kindness alone is one of the biggest gifts you can be given. Because, like I said earlier, the society is full of robots. Nobody has a personality. You might the word personality might not even exist, because everyone else would just be the same. Everyone else would just follow the crowd. They would dress the same, think the same, look the same, say the same words. And then there's you, someone full of kindness, someone full of positivity, someone full of happiness. You, or people like us, are what is making the world a better place. Because a life or a world full of kindness, a world full of positivity, respect, and smiles is what makes a life worth living. You know, I've had people at work tell me that every time they come in and they see my smile, I automatically make their day. You know, I had customers tell me, you know, how they've come home from like just a horrible shift, or they've got bad things going on, but when they see my smile, it's like they've got a better day. You know, and things like that surprise me, because it's crazy how a simple smile, how simply being kind changes someone's life so easily. Like, you'd think it would be compliments, you'd think it would be, oh, your hair looks nice, oh, you look good, you know, or, you know, giving someone gifts or stuff like that, but it's simply just being kind, you know. Nobody expects anything from you. You know, when you're simply just kind and you smile and you treat someone with happiness, that alone is all you need to do to make someone feel noticed, make someone feel respected. But yeah, alongside that, I do also feel like being kind is what obviously makes people try to take advantage of you. You know, I always think back to that one presentation that Michael Jackson did. It was when Britney Spears presented him with like a cake or something that was just to make fun of him. And it wasn't like an award, it was just like a cake, something to make fun of him. And he still took it with positivity. He still thanked her. He still went on to just give on a beautiful speech, when the sole purpose was to embarrass him. The sole purpose was to exploit his kindness, to make him, you know, feel weak. But he's still shown his kindness. He's still shown, not shown, that's not even a word. He still expressed his gratitude. And then it just got me thinking how, like, when you are known as this kind person, when you are known as this person who always shows positivity, you are so easily taken advantage of. And it's like, it's just disgusting, you know. In a way, because you're so kind, people open up to you. People open up easily to anyone who's nice to them. And when someone does something like that, and then they reflect on what they did, like the things they say to you, they will rise their guard up. They will start to regret it. And not only will they might not regret it, but they will just start to feel as if they need to redirect who they perceive to be to you. So like, they may have opened up about how weak they felt, but then they may start to feel, actually, no, I'm actually not like that. Even though I told you that I'm not like that, I'm actually this strong, you know, confident person. And they would do everything in their power to show that to you. And it's just weird, you know, how in a way it's good being kind, because obviously to other people it's easier for them to open up to you. And if you have, you know, if you know how to help them, you obviously can. But like I said earlier about how it's exploitative, it's just it's not nice, you know, because society is in a way centered around control. Um, Everyone wants control, you know. Everyone wants to be the best at everything. Everyone wants to be their own main character. Everyone wants to, you know, be their, like, just the main person. And when everyone wants to be the main person, when everyone wants to be the main character, they want to take control of the other people. They want to, take advantage. And what better way to do that than to do it to the kind people, the people who are who you can easily talk to, the people who don't show signs of anger, or signs of, I don't know, it's just strength and power. People who just simply radiate kindness and are always happy are always the people who are easily taken advantage of, who are easily disrespected, who are easily the ones who are tend to be the person who gets opened up to, you know? And it all might sound a bit confusing because I'm not very good at explaining the way I think. But yeah, it's just weird, because obviously, like I said earlier, society nowadays, everyone are robots, but no one's forgotten, the that one like fundamental of responsibility of a human being, in which it's power, in which it's control. And when you live in like this society where it's just like, social media has shaped the way you think, you have really high standards of yourself or of other people, and you want to get to these levels. You don't feel like you value yourself as much as you should, more so because you're not where you want to be. And that could mostly be looks wise, and it mainly is. The obviously main reason why people dislike themselves, or people just don't like how they look, is literally because of the way society has shaped it, and the way social media has changed the way you perceive yourself, the way you should do your hair, the way you should do your eyebrows, stuff like that. And obviously, there were things we never worried about when we were younger, because when we were younger, we weren't on our phones like that. I used to always leave the house to go to primary school without even combing my hair. My mum would have, every time I left the house, my mum would have to call me back in, get my face ready, comb my hair, because I would literally get up, brush my teeth, eat my breakfast, and go. That was how much I did not care. And obviously nowadays it's a lot different. I'm spending quite some time in a mirror. But what I'm trying to say is that because people are more self-conscious about themselves, when they see someone who is easily taken advantage of, they will do that in order to make themselves feel better. They will realize that, they will know that this person is always kind. They will know that this person is easy to break into. So for them, the only way to feel better about yourself, to stop hating yourself, is to make other people feel worse about themselves, or to just, belittle other people to make yourself bigger. And obviously it's something that's very normal in a way. When you're this kind person, you will know that this is normal. Like, generally, you will, if you are this type of person who is always radiating kindness, who is always being nice to people, you will know that you've interacted with people who have tried or have belittled you to make themselves bigger, who have taken advantage of your kindness. And when you play, or when you combine the kindness you have with the self-awareness, it's like you almost start to just hate human beings in general, because when you become self-aware of how people exploit you, when you become self-aware of how people take advantage of you, or how people disrespect you, it just starts to affect your levels of kindness. Like, when I started to become more self-aware, and when I started to reflect on the way people used to treat me, it started to make me show less kindness to other people in general. Like, because this one person said this thing about me that I didn't think was that deep a while ago until now, I'm all of a sudden changing the way I live. I'm all of a sudden talking to customers, being less happier, talking to customers with a less happier tone, and I'm all of a sudden, being less kind of a person, because I'm more self-aware of how other people have tried to exploit me, or other people have tried to sort of belittle me. And self-awareness, I think itself, is one of the things that I think sort of makes life depressing in a way. Mostly because the world is not a good place at all. Like, like there are a few bits, and bits and bobs about the world itself, like Earth as a whole. Everyone on Earth, it's not that good of a place. It's you can easily argue that it's not getting better, but when you start to just realize how people are like, personality wise, you start to see these things online of how people treat other people and how it's normalized. It becomes harder to express happiness. It becomes harder for you to stay a this kind person, because then you start to put that perception of other people onto everyone else. Because a large group of people act you realize act in this disgusting, weird way, you start to project your perception on them onto everyone else. And so, because you do that, because that specific type of person acted in that way, you're less kind to that person. But not only are you less kind to that person, you're less kind to everyone else. And obviously, it's a shame that, I don't like to view one person's actions as a collective. Like, I don't want to think someone acting this way means that everyone else does, because it's not the truth. But it's just when you keep seeing that same pattern every single time, it's hard to ignore it. It's hard to treat everyone the same because you keep seeing that same pattern. But I always tell myself that it's the demons battling your kindness. When you become self-aware and you have kindness, it's like the self-awareness is trying to destroy your kindness. It's trying to make you feel depressed. It's trying to make you like humans less. But at the same time, when you are self-aware, you do start to understand why people act the way they do. Like, even though people may act in a rude way, or they may be disrespectful, or you just, from what you see, like in front of you, they just seem like a bad person. But deep down, you understand why they're like that. You understand why they act this way, and you almost start to feel bad for them. You still show respect for them because you know why they're like that. So in a way, self-awareness is good, because sometimes I do find myself being kinder to ruder people than I am to normal people. More so because I know for someone to have become a rude person, they must have lived experiences in which people or someone has affected them badly, or they've experienced something bad in their life, because no one's angry for no reason. No one's rude for no reason. Something has to have happened to them that's made them into this person. So, despite people being rude to me, despite people treating me like shit, or people just, shining all this anger towards me, all this negativity, I still provide that kindness. I still provide that happiness, because it's the least we can do as humans. In the end, we're all the same. We're all the same species. It doesn't matter if someone's rude. It doesn't matter if someone's like a fucking devil. In the end, we're all humans. We all deserve to be treated the same. And if you are a kind person, no matter what personality, sort of type you interact with, always treat everyone the same. Because then it makes your life easier to live. You don't have to change the way you act, the way you speak with specific people. You can just be the same with everyone else. And obviously there's this muscle going around about how people say to treat people the way they treat you. But I just say treat people how you want to treat them. Not everyone is going to be kind to you even though you're kind to them. So don't expect that. Just because someone's rude to you, that doesn't mean you've got to be rude to them. If you are a kind person, you probably don't even know how to be rude, because I don't. But don't believe that you've got to treat people how they treat you. You can do that if you want to, of course. There's nothing wrong with it. But when you are self-aware and when you have kindness, you will know that you can't just treat people with anger and rudeness if they treated you with that. You will know that something has happened to them for them to be like that. And then you will still continue to treat them with happiness. And I think that's what we should do. Always shine your kindness to other people, because it's one of the best sort of personality traits or personality You know, just it's just the best thing you can be as a person. It's just to just be yourself, to continue being a kind and respectful person. So this video was very long. I'm very sorry about that, but thank you all for watching and have a good day.